I'm Jess.
And I'm Karli. And this is the Only Human podcast.
I could just feel that I was like so out of alignment with myself and my values. I felt so empty. I started to feel like a shell of myself. That was so debilitating for me, like that fear of putting myself out there and just the fear of like letting people in. We have our emotional support water bottles.
We do.
Now we got the giggles.
I'm scared.
What are you scared of? You know why? Because you're wearing the shirt that you wore in the first episode. Remember how many times you peed that day?
Yeah.
And now you don't have nervous pees anymore.
I still do. I just don't let myself give in to the temptation.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like you tried not to last time and you still peed like 20 times.
Yeah. I think I also just drank a lot of water that day. I'm a little bit dehydrated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can hear it in my voice too.
I know. I was like, you sound
whenever
like
I have like
sick.
a scratchy voice, it's either I didn't get enough sleep or I'm not hydrated. And today, both things are true.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, how was your time away from all of your habits and sleep schedules? And
Yeah.
you told me you got 3 hours of sleep or something.
Yes. So for context, I just got back from Puerto Rico last night. I was there for my best friend's bachelorette and it was so fun. I feel like it's very important to have time away from regular scheduled programming and just don't worry about the wellness, don't worry about the habits, just have fun. But I always feel so behind the 8 ball when I get back, and I just feel it to my core that I'm just tired. And actually, this was the first bachelorette that I didn't drink on. I feel like while I've been kind of on that sober curious journey for probably 2 years now, bachelorettes are always the one event where I always just end up partaking just because everybody else is, and it's 2 to 3 full days. And I don't know, I always just end up succumbing. And this time I really truly was going to drink if I wanted to, but I genuinely didn't. I think I ordered one drink at dinner. I took a few sips and was like, I don't even want this. I think I had a few sips of champagne, but besides that, I didn't drink at all. And that at least helped me feel a little bit better coming back because I wasn't hungover and sleep deprived, but I definitely am still sleep deprived because we went out on a boat on Saturday and Friday night was our going out night. So we probably got home between 2:30 and we had to be out the door at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday for the boat because it was a full day thing. God. And we had to get picked up by a bus at 6:40, which was a 10-minute walk away. So yeah, I'm operating off of 3.5 hours of sleep from that night. And they always say it's kind of a domino effect. The lack of sleep, I should say, doesn't hit you the next day. It's always the days after. And the shit that's been coming out of my mouth the past couple days, just because the neurons aren't firing.
They're not.
I literally said, I held the mom for her door instead of I held the door. I keep switching up my words.
Yes.
That's what's happening. I said, I want to throw my ring in the hat, but I can't instead of hat in the ring. And then my personal favorite, I was like, we should really go get some frozen, now I'm saying it right, Frogan yogurt. And everyone was like,
that
what?
is a good one.
And I'm like, and it takes me a second, but I'm like, this is what happens when I get less than 8 hours of sleep. So God bless when I'm a mom one day. We'll deal with that when that time comes. But yeah, I'm feeling a little stupid.
It's perfect timing.
So you're going to be finishing my sentences today because I'm on the struggle bus.
And also, we haven't been in the studio for a little while, so it's getting back on the horse. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is such a, it's kind of use it or lose it.
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable behind the mic, and then a lot of time passes, and then it's your first time all over again. And that's how I'm feeling today.
So it should be really fun.
Yeah. Everyone's going to have to bear with us. How was your weekend, though? I feel I haven't, we've been chatting, but I feel I don't know what you did this weekend. And
I didn't do very much. I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, all 3 days?
Yeah, all 3 days.
Oh my God.
3 in a row is typically a little bit of a struggle for me, but I got through it. And we're here. Today's my first day off. So yeah, it was fine. But I feel it's funny because this past weekend, particularly for both of us, is very, it's indicative of my habits and schedules and things in my life, and then yours, like your weekend really threw all of your stuff off.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting that we're going to talk about this today because it's like very prevalent in both of our lives right now. Just like habits and routines, really what it comes down to.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite topic because it's one of the things that I feel so passionate about for the very reason of I'm feeling the way I'm feeling today because I wasn't on my habits and routines. And I truly feel like it has the ability to transform your life for the better if you get your habits and routines on lock, and they don't always look the same for like everybody. And that's another thing I'm so passionate about. It's like find the routines and habits that fit your lifestyle and your goals, and they're customizable. And I feel like that's such like an important message because I think they're so glamorized on social media these days, and people think it's just a one size fits all. And it's like, you don't have to adopt this lifestyle influencers habits. Like if that 5 a.m. routine isn't serving you, like leave that and find something that will. So yeah, I love this topic. I'm excited.
Yeah, that just like, that's so true, the influencer thing. And it's like, I feel like, of course, comparison culture always comes into it, but it's like you see these people getting up at 5 a.m. They're doing matcha, they're doing a workout, all this stuff before work. And like some people just truly like that is not their thing. Like they are night people. And they do their best work or most energized at nighttime. Whereas me, I'm like, I can't imagine. But yeah, it's so interesting because everybody's so different, but that's what makes it so difficult is like you would love to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna like take this routine and then I'm gonna feel good. It's like you really have to trial and error like everything else.
And then you beat yourself up when that routine doesn't stick, and it's like, well, that was never made for you. You took that from somebody else, tried to adopt it as your own without making it your own, and then you're beating yourself up when you ultimately weren't successful, but you were never set up for success to begin with.
Right.
And I love how you just said like, yes, some people are night people, others thrive in the morning. And similar to like our friendship episode, when we talked about how everybody's social circle looks different because people have different personality types. Some are more introverted, more extroverted, have a bigger social battery and love being around others, while others are just like kind of are content with like their lonesome or a smaller social circle. Same thing with habits and routines. We're all so different and individual. So our habits and routines should reflect that.
Right. I feel like it's an interesting contrast as per usual. I have pretty much zero routines and habits in my life right now. And you have a routine that works really well for you and you have a good grasp of like what you need to fill your cup in the morning. So I guess we can kind of just start by like talking about our current relationship with our routines and like what that kind of looks like in our lives.
It's actually shocking to me that you don't have a routine on lock because we're very similar in a lot of ways and we thrive off of predictability and structure. So before I answer that for myself, I'm curious, like, do you feel like that's just a byproduct of your job?
Yeah. Like I think my mind and my body are literally begging and pleading for like routine and predictability, and habits right now. And like, I just have not figured out a way to sustain them in a way that works for me, like with my schedule mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for the listeners, like your schedule is you typically work what, like
3 12-hour shifts.
Okay. 3 a week.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when I do work, I'm out of the house for at least like 15 hours. So I leave at like 5:30-ish in the morning and then I get home at like 8:30-ish. So like, and it's funny because now I'm just thinking too, like, I did make it work when I had 75 hard that I was doing last summer. Like I got up early and worked out before and after work. So like, I guess I could do it if I wanted to, but yeah, I'm just having a hard time finding like implementable and like predictable things that I can do every day because some days I have all day off and some days I have like the entire day out of the house.
The all or nothing is really hard. It's like from one spectrum to the other. You either have no time and you're out of the house all day or you're home all day. And I think it's just a matter of finding what works for you in this season of your life. Because I think your routine is going to change throughout like the different chapters. And I've always been like very routine oriented. And I think it came from childhood and really just being like an athlete. And then with running, like I feel like I always had to like get my run in the summer, like before the sun came up because I would die otherwise in like the 95-degree heat trying to do like the workouts and like to the quality that I wanted to do them. And And then even like with finance, like being on the desk super early. And so I just think about like all the different iterations.
Yeah.
And literally my routine has changed like on an annual basis to fit my lifestyle. But I feel like above all, what I've really learned is that it's kind of my lifeline, routines and habits. And just to kind of answer your question about like the relationship to my personal routines and habits right now, I feel like I prioritize it above all because I know the dividends that it pays me in return. And I've always said, I think I have to work a little bit harder than the average person for my mental health. My baseline runs a little bit anxious, a little bit blue. I feel like I've always kind of dealt with a little bit of anxiety, and I don't want to say depression, but just like feeling down. And I think that with time, I've realized I gain a lot of confidence and happiness by keeping promises to myself, showing up for myself day in and day out. And that's not in these like grand, big gestures. It's in these like little small things. And that makes me feel like the best version of myself. And when I feel like the best version of myself, that makes me feel like I can do big, grand things and create the life that I want. And so I feel like I've just recognized that it like really has the ability to like amplify. And it's not just like a silly little habit. It's like stackable and it leads to like such bigger things. So for me, I just feel like that's why I prioritize my habits and feeling good above literally anything else.
Yeah. So do you think like growing up, you kind of had routines that were implemented for you, and then as you got older and like had a little bit more autonomy, like after you graduated college, that you had to like kind of be purposeful about them?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think like I definitely had routines in place for me when I had to like get up every single Sunday at Penn and go for a long run, whether I was still drunk, hungover as shit, or like in my absolute best state. Like that was a non-negotiable. But then I also think back to like the Christmas mornings, the Easter mornings that I had to get my ass out of bed. And that wasn't, you know, a byproduct of somebody forcing me to do that. Nobody was holding me accountable, but it was just something that I knew I had to get done. And I think I still kind of carry like that mentality even today. Like when my alarm goes off, like I get out of bed for me, not because anybody is forcing me to, but because I know how good it's going to make me feel. So I do think it kind of goes hand in hand, but I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like if you had to ever like sit down and like kind of play with different habits and like routines and stuff and like how that went.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have it really in a good spot right now.
Right now I do. I mean, I think back to when I was living in New York, working, you know, at a bank and had to be on the desk at 6:15. And I was going to the gym at 4:30 and then coming home and showering, literally washing my hair, curling my hair. And like, that wasn't sustainable. So like that probably, I would have ran myself into the ground and eventually reached a place where I was like, this is not the routine that you can like maintain. Mm-hmm. I never actually got to that place because I ended up switching jobs. But I think because I really make sure that my routines and habits are fitting into my lifestyle, not like the other way around. Of course, it's trial and error, but I'm never doing something that isn't ultimately making me better off. Like I think it's a day by day thing that I'm just like, is this still serving me? Is this still making me feel good? And if it's not making me feel good, then like I am nixing it. But yeah, of course it's like trial and error, but I feel like it's more of like a smaller scale short term than forcing myself to do something for 6 months and like reevaluating, if that makes sense.
Right. No, that does make sense. It's so hard too, because like I feel like motivation like ebbs and flows, and then they always say like discipline is like what keeps you going. And so like how do you, I know this is kind of like turning into like an interview because I'm trying to like figure it out for myself, but how do you like keep that discipline to yourself when like there's days where you're like, I don't know if this is serving me, or I just don't feel like doing it, or like how do you like navigate that?
So most days when I know that I would be not doing something out of laziness, I just don't think about it. Like I don't give myself the choice. However, I think I've gotten good at distinguishing the days that I would be being lazy or the days that I would be giving my body what it needs. Mm-hmm. So for example, last week I drove from Washington, D.C. down the shore, and it was after like a hell of a couple weeks. My body was exhausted, and I woke up and I want it to go outside and I want it to go on my hour walk. I want it to do Pilates. I want it to like do all the wellness habits. But I was like, this is just not it for me today. And so instead I made my matcha. I sat on the deck and I started working because I was feeling a little bit behind, and that's just what I needed in that moment. And so I feel like it's a little bit of a combination of checking in with yourself and being like, am I in a state where I would be more beneficial to, you know, engage in the routine that I set out for myself on a normal basis, or would today be better served changing my course of action? And I think it all starts with like just asking that question and being honest with yourself. I think 9 times out of 10, you're better off by doing the habit or the routine. But there are those outliers where it's like, actually, that's not what your body's asking for today. But personally, I always get through that lack of motivation by envisioning myself on the other side. So like this morning, I got back from the Bachelorette last night. I knew I was tired, but I went to sleep at a decent time last night, got like a full 8 hours. When my alarm went off, I like heard it in my dream for like the first 15 seconds. And you know, that's not a good sign, you know, and that's like, you're in a deep sleep and you're not ready to wake up. But as soon as I opened my eyes, I was like, okay, I should be pretty rested. I actually feel pretty rested. And I envisioned myself at 9 o'clock logging on to work after sleeping until like 8:30, and then getting right to the laptop, or waking up at 6:15, going on my walk, doing Pilates, which I didn't get to do over the weekend, having a good breakfast, laying on my shocky mat, like doing all the things. And I was like, that sounds so much better. That's the version of me at 9 o'clock that I want to meet today. And so I got out of bed. And I think it's just seeing the light, right? Like I know how I feel when I do the right thing, I guess. Like, and so it's easy to make that choice. Whereas it might be harder for somebody that hasn't had that consistency and doesn't know how good you can feel on a daily basis.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I love how you just said, like, that's the version of me that I want to meet this morning and how I want to feel. And I was thinking exactly what you said. Like, I think it's so much easier to have that motivation and feel that way once you've found that other side of like, oh, I feel really good when I do those things. And so I can imagine that I would feel better, but I just don't know. Like, I've never felt that like satisfaction from like this habit or this routine that I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like hard to like convince myself.
It reminds me of the conversation about people don't know the happiness that they can feel until they put themselves out there or try a new thing, and then something in them is unlocked and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this sense of purpose or fulfillment existed until you experienced it. Same thing with habits and routines. Like, I plead with the ones that I love to drink less, to eat healthier, and like not in an annoying, like relentless way, but like I feel very passionate about giving people the facts and really relaying the message of like how large of a life you can live and how good you can feel if you just keep promises to yourself, do the research, take the time to like put those habits in place, and then just follow through. It's like truly transformational. But yeah, I mean, if you never take that step, you're never going to know what you don't know.
Right. It's so funny because like you could feel bad, but you don't know it's bad because that's all you know. And that's like exactly what we were saying in the inner work episode too. It's like, you feel like it's so hard to change because this is all you know. And, you know, you may not feel like you feel tired on a daily basis or just like sluggish or like not clear mentally. But once you see the other side and feel that, then you're like, oh, I actually was not feeling my best self all this time.
I'm curious from your side, like obviously I'm here being like, I have it figured out. And like, obviously everything's always a work in progress. Like I'm never going to have something figured out 100%. But I think I've experienced that wellness and that happiness. So what is going through your mind when you're either resistant to maybe trying a new routine or habit, or feeling like you're trying something that doesn't work? Like, can you just speak a little bit about where you're at, like mentally, and like what are the thoughts that go through your head when you're not able to like follow through with the routine that you like want?
Yeah. What my day looks like every day is so different. So I have a hard time working out. And so for me, like I said, I'm a very all or nothing person. So I'm like, okay, I want to like work out 3 days a week or not work out 3 days a week. And like when I don't have like a great plan or a great like routine, then I don't follow through with it because there's like a million excuses, but they're actually like, I think that they're good excuses. It's like, I just worked 3 12-hour shifts. Like, I'm not going to get up today and like at an earlier time and work out because like, I feel like I need the sleep. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get ample sleep over the weekend and I worked a lot and like, I'm going to let myself sleep in. So I feel like a lot of what goes through my head is like, I want to start having like a non-negotiable, but it's hard for me to do that when I can't say like every morning at 6 a.m. I'm going to do this thing. And that's what I do. So like for working out, I would love to do that. I would love to say like, okay, theoretically, if I wanted to, every single day I could wake up at like 4:30 and work out for 45 minutes. But I don't want to do that on my days off. So it's like, that's where I'm.
Why would you have to do that on your days off? Maybe you
like
have
if
to
I
do
wanted
it.
it to be like a habit.
So you're so
But
black and white
I'm
though.
so
That's your problem.
But this is the problem is that like I don't work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm off Thursday, Friday. Like I could work 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on. So then it's like, I'm gonna, like, I don't know. It's never like I can work out 3 days this week because I'm only working 3 days and I'll work on my off days because like every week is so different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think your habits and routines are ever going to look the same across the week. And also your Mondays aren't always going to look the same. But I think you can maybe like implement like the day after I get off those 3 shifts, I let myself sleep in. I don't set an alarm. But if I wake up and it's like 10 a.m., like maybe you don't have a routine that day. Like I think you like to do things 100%. And sometimes that prevents you from doing them at all. And I think that's like the progress over perfection, right? Like we always say this, we're type A, we're perfectionists. And so I was in that place. I feel like for, you know, with other aspects of my life, I totally get it. But why can't waking up at 10 a.m. after you worked, you know, 3 days in a row, why can't your workout at 11 a.m. that day count after you woke up at 10 and like maybe had a slow morning, drank your coffee on the couch?
Yeah, I don't think it has to do with like, I could work out at 10 a.m. after I wake up and sleep in. But for me, it's easier for me to like
stick with something,
stick with it if it's like consistent. And it's like, no, I work out at 9 o'clock on my days off. And then that's like non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But like, if I say like, okay, I'm going to work out on my days off, then I could work 3 in a row, have 1 off, work 2. Well, in that 7 days, I only worked out twice. Like, it's just, I feel like I want to say like, oh, I work out 3 days a week or I do this. Like, I don't know. But so my inner dialogue is just like, I'm very hard on myself because I'm like, well, you like, because sometimes I find myself jealous of people that work a 5-day, 40-hour week job.
I'm sure.
Because I'm like, okay, at least then I know I can wake up at 6 every day and like every day is the same. I eat at the same times. I can go to bed at relatively the same times. And like, so I feel like I crave that consistency and that like routine. So then I'm like, okay, well, you actually actively choose every day to have a job that works 3/12s. Like you literally don't have to do that. So that's just like my inner dialogue of like, okay, well, if you're going to choose to work 3 days a week, then you have to figure out something that works for you. But then I'm like, well, they have it so much easier because they have like a set routine every day and it's like, whatever. Yeah. So that's like.
Right now, in the context of this conversation, we're revolving the routine or habits around working out.
Yeah.
But what if on the days that you work, I'm like, we're in this together. Now we're going to like have a session after this. And like, I'm like determined to like find you a routine, but it's like flipping the narrative where it doesn't have to be this lengthy morning routine where you have to wake up at 4:30, but maybe your routine on the days that you work is you wake up 5 minutes and you do like box breathing or a meditation and then you get your coffee and it's like smaller time-bound things that still make you feel like you're checking things off that list and like getting that sense of accomplishment and you're feeling that structure that even children need. Like, by the way, just the gratification that routines give you, it comes from children also needing the same thing. They thrive under structure and discipline and routine. Like they beg for it when they're not getting it. And I think adults are the same exact way, but it's just redefining maybe what those routines and habits look like for you and making them more realistic to your schedule. So it's maybe not an hour workout, but maybe it's a 10-minute Pilates flow literally in your living room before you get dressed for work. And even that will kind of solicit like some dopamine and a little bit of like a sense of accomplishment that you at least are following through on something that you like had on your list and you got to like check it off.
Yeah, that's very true, because I am a very much like list person. I love checking things off the list. If it wasn't on the list and I did it, I'm going to put it on and then I can check it off.
Wait, literally, I do the same thing. I'm like, I already did that an hour ago, but I'm writing it on my list and I'm giving it that
I can check it off. Yeah, no, that's actually a great point, that like it doesn't have to be this grand thing. I think like working out is something that I'm very heavily focused on right now, because like that is something that I really, really want to incorporate into my week and my days. And I know that I feel good after doing it. I just like struggle to find a good time, because even on my days off, like I said, I don't have that plan of like, no, I work out at 9:00 and this is what I'm doing. I have it in my head that I'm working out all day, but then other things take precedence, because when I'm out of the house for 15 hours, nothing gets done. Like the laundry doesn't get done. I can't work on like stuff for the podcast. Like literally nothing gets done. So I find myself when I'm home, I crave checking things off my list and like getting things tidied up for the next time that I'm out of the house all day. You know what I mean? So like for me right now, working out doesn't check any box. Like it's not on my list. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just about like habits and routines, but that is something that like is making me reflect on the bigger picture of just like how unpredictable my life is. It's like predictably unpredictable. Like I know that I work 3 days a week and I'm out of the house all day. But I don't know, like even as far as like my eating and my water intake, like some days I'm holding my pee all day and I'm not eating at like certain times, like, and I'm not drinking any water during the day. Like even down to those little things, like my water intake for the day is super unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just like taking inventory of like all the things that I have difficulty, like maybe promises that I have to myself, like difficulty keeping them because of the unpredictability of like my job.
I feel like it would be helpful to make a list of like things that are in your control and things that are not in your control, because I think right now, hearing you talk, it reminds me of motherhood. And there's so much that kind of like related to your job has to take precedent. You have to like tend to your patients, and you might be holding your pee all day or like not able to take a break to eat lunch. And like that is kind of how motherhood is. And that's something that I am lucky enough to not have to deal with, because I have that 9 to 5 pretty flexible schedule, like nobody else to consider. And you're in this specific chapter of your life where you don't have that luxury. But I think you beat yourself up because of those like factors that you can't control. But if it's in front of you and you're like, all right, I'm accepting that these are things that are going to come up. They're unpredictable. They're not in my control. Maybe it won't feel so like reflective of you, and you'll be able to just like release it a little bit easier, because you're like, oh, I already knew that that was a possibility. That's something I can't control. So why am I going to beat myself up over it? Let's focus on the list of things that I can control and give myself grace for the things that I can't. You know, I think it's a lot about the reframing, because I do think a lot of people are in a similar boat to you, where habits and routines become very overwhelming and a way that we think we're doing things right or wrong, instead of just using them as a tool to just feel the best that we can, instead of making it so black and white, or again, one size fits all, feeling like you need to compare to the person that you saw on Instagram today. And like, that's never going to be the case, and it's never going to be realistic.
Right. Yeah, I think that definitely rings true. And I think just in my own life, like you said, I'm very hard on myself, but I also think about how like I'm always playing devil's advocate to myself, because I'm like, it actually is within my control. Like I could have a 9 to 5 job. And so that's like something that I'm going through right now, is like, I am very much in a state where I like want to prioritize my health and wellness, and like doing these things, like being able to work out on a consistent basis, being able to hydrate and fuel my body with good foods at good times of day, like different things. Sometimes I'm not eating my dinner until 8 p.m. and that's not great when I'm going to sleep at 9. So I really want to focus on my health. And I think that that's where I'm finding like this pull between like, okay, I actually choose to have this unpredictable job. Like, which one is more important to me? You know what I mean? And I'm trying to do both. And like, I'm realizing that both is not, it can work to a certain degree, but like not the degree that I want it to.
Values play a huge role in it. And that's why I left finance too. Not just because of like the health and wellness, like values that I couldn't, but like morally, I feel like some things weren't aligning with me, but it really wasn't allowing me to like lead the life that I felt would make me feel most happy and fulfilled. And similar to you, I feel like, yes, career is like a huge thing. And I was just thinking like on your days off when you're doing the laundry or like checking that list of like the household chores that need to get done or like the podcast, I think it's all about prioritizing you. And literally, again, maybe I'm such a list person. I'm like, make a list of your values. And if health and wellness is at the top, get that 30 to 45 minute workout in over laundry. And figure out another time, like habit stack and do the laundry while you're cooking dinner or editing the podcast, like whatever. Like, I feel like that's also been a game changer for me, like habit stacking and like kind of fitting things in and just making time. And there's definitely time to give yourself grace and just acknowledge that things aren't in your control. But then there's also another time that you need to be like savvy and be like, I'm going to fit this in. I'm going to find a way to make it work because it's important to me. And it's like prioritization and like finding those pockets in your life that you can make little changes, setting boundaries, setting like things in place to like set you up for success. And I think sometimes that just takes a little bit of like really sitting with your routine and it's almost like a puzzle and making it fit. And it doesn't always come naturally. It's not always easy, but it's doable.
I like that a lot. I am very much a list person. Every single day, like I make a list of like what I'm doing that day. And usually the gym's on it and it doesn't get done.
And then what do you do when the gym is and you don't get to cross it off?
No,
like,
I don't.
do you just leave it
I just leave it. Yeah.
See, when I don't get to a item on my to-do list, I do like a horizontal strike through it. And when I do it, I like will give it a check. And there's nothing I hate more than doing a horizontal. And then usually I'll like carry it down to like the next day. And then I'll go back that prior day and give it a check, like just because I'm a psycho. And I'm like, I did end up doing it. But yeah, I know you're such a list person. So that surprises me that you're just like,
that's just leaving it. I just delete it. I just delete the list.
All right. Well, we're going to put this on both of our to-do lists to like set a little hour aside and look at your schedule because now I'm invested and I want to like find something that works for you.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that like, I feel like you're going to be a good resource for like helping me find things that like you're right. It doesn't have to be like the hour workout. It can just be like different little things like, you know, diaphragmatic breathing in the morning or like, anything like journaling or things like that.
Yeah.
That like are still going to make me feel good. It's just not like this big commitment.
Yes.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I was going to say, fun fact. I think it was probably like a year or two ago. I launched an accountability coaching business. I don't know if there was like a certification for that. If there was, I didn't have it. But because I'm so passionate about it, and this is exactly what I did. Like I sat down with people and like asked about their job, their goals, and then we like worked out ways to achieve that. Could be so little or like something that's like, you know, a bigger life change. But I feel so passionate about it. So I'm excited to do
maybe
it
that's going to be an extension of the Only Human Project coming soon.
Only Human
I feel
Habits.
like, did people get like really good... Did you get really good feedback from it?
I did. I didn't work with too many people. I think it was honestly like only a couple, which is why I stopped doing it because I was like, maybe I should like have a little bit of more qualifications behind it. But the people that I did work with, yes, they definitely seemed like they were happy with it. And I definitely got a lot of fulfillment out of it because I really do think I'm passionate about allowing people to see how great they can feel and just like live a really fulfilling, happy, healthy life. And so if I could just be like a little tool to help them achieve that, then that makes me happy.
Yeah, I love that. That's so sweet. Why don't you tell us what your current like routine is in the morning?
Okay. So yeah, this is like emphasis on current. So this has probably been my routine for, I guess, a year now. And I work a 9-to-5 job, but it's fully remote. So that's a luxury. And I've kind of created this life for myself by design. And it's funny because when we read our journals in the last episode or one of the recent episodes, I said that I was craving flexibility. And I felt like I was like cooped up, callous, doing like none of the things that I loved. I wasn't able to prioritize my health and wellness. And so I really sought out a job that like allowed me to have my morning routine and not sit in a car for an hour and like commute to work. So I just want to say, like, I'm set up and I'm very lucky. I'm not a mom. Like, I, don't live with a significant other that messes up my sleeping pattern. So this is probably a luxury that a lot of people can't afford. And moms are probably going to want to tune out right now, or at least close your ears for the next like 3 minutes, because they're going to be like, fuck off. My sister's probably listening, being like, I can't wait for you to have children one day. But I get up typically between, I would say, 6 and 6:15. And my alarm is like the Hatch alarm, or it's like an Amazon knockoff, like an iHome. And so that alone like sets the tone for my day, because I'm not waking up with this like blaring, annoying alarm. It's like rising with the sun, although it doesn't even matter because I sleep with a bonnet, an eye mask, mouth tape. So it's not like the sun is really like rising, but it's at least like a soothing sound versus
If
the
anybody
iPhone
tries
alarm.
to kidnap you, like their job's already done. You already have mouth
I kidnapped
tape.
myself.
You have
I'm dead to the world. Like, anybody can take me, because literally my friends are always like, you freak me out when you sleep, because not only am I all covered, I also sleep like a dead person. I have my arms crossed and I like don't move.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like, yeah, how I wake up in the morning. And then I get out of bed right away. I'm a big proponent of not staying in bed, not reaching for your phone, not being on social media first thing. Like, that's like, I will check my text messages occasionally just to like make sure everything's okay. But right as soon as I get out of bed, I go to the bathroom, tongue scrape, brush my teeth, chug water, go down to the kitchen, let my dog out, have like a little bite of something to eat, usually like a banana with peanut butter, just to get food in my system right away, because that really helps like, calm your nervous system, bring your cortisol down, because your body's already in a fasted state from the night prior. Specifically, females really, really benefit from eating pretty soon after they wake up. And then I go for a walk outside, typically for like an hour. And then I'll come home. I will then do like 30 minutes of Pilates. So when I teach Pilates classes, the classes are 45 minutes, but anytime I ever do Pilates on my own, it's just 30. And I actually used to do Pilates for an hour every single day. And I realized that that actually was too long. And I was like, finding myself checking out, thinking about my to-do list. And so I would rather spend that time on a walk outside in nature and then shorten my Pilates workout. And then I will get a shower. I will go downstairs and I will make myself breakfast. And it's always like a balanced breakfast. Right now, this is actually probably my breakfast for also like a year and a half, probably. 2 eggs and then like a fruit cereal. So I just like cut up like bananas, strawberries, blueberries, like whatever fruit I have in the house. And then I put cacao powder, chia seeds, milk, and sometimes like oats for some texture, and peanut butter. So I will eat that. I'll take my vitamins. I will go upstairs.
What time is it at this point?
At this point, it's probably like 8:15.
Okay.
8:30. And then I'll lay on my Shakti mat for 20 minutes. And then I think that's the last thing. And then I log on to work at 9. So yeah, the morning routine is like anywhere from like 2.5 to 3 hours. But I find that if I do all of those things for myself, I'm logging on to work ready to answer to other people's demands. If I were to wake up and go right to my laptop and start responding before filling my cup, I would hate the world.
Yeah.
And so just being able to just wake up, do things for myself, spend time in my own head, it really allows me to then be present and serve others throughout the day.
That makes so much sense. I think that's a big piece that a lot of people, including myself, miss, is that like a lot of things during the day are not done for ourselves.
Yeah.
And like that is so important to feel like I am fulfilled and like you say, my cup is filled before you can like serve other people. That's so important.
They say that on a grand scale, like making sure that you're fulfilled in life and you're doing things that fill your cup, but it's also on a daily basis. It's like the little things, like making sure you're showing up to work as a mom, as like, and obviously a routine for a mom is going to look vastly different. Maybe they have literally 30 minutes, but like maybe you should wake up before your kids get up just to sit with your cup of coffee in silence in the backyard, like watching the sun come up, like just to ground yourself again before you start in that rat race of life, because it's so overstimulating. It's so demanding. Whatever chapter of life you're in, whether you're responding to demands at work, your children or whatever it is, like that alone is enough to kind of like throw you off. And so I think it's just important to just spend time with yourself and for yourself.
Have you always had like the same, I know your routine changes, but have you like, has it been shorter and you built on it, or has it always been that extensive?
No, it definitely was not always this extensive. I've always been a morning worker outer. If it gets to like 9:30 and I haven't worked out yet, it's not happening. There's something about waking up before the rest of the world and getting it done when everybody else is like still in bed, or like, you know, it just feels like you are getting
You're
ahead.
like ahead, yeah.
Yeah. And it also expands your day. So I feel like I've always prioritized a workout, but it wasn't until I guess just like all these different modalities started like coming out with like the Shakti mat, and I don't know, just like I think I feel better when I add more in. I also forgot my matcha. My matcha is actually the last thing. So when I sit down to work, that's when I make my matcha. So I have it as my laptop is opened, and that's a little like joy booster that like I am logging on to work ready to like tackle the inbox or like the tasks, because I'm then like drinking it alongside my matcha. I'm drinking my work alongside my matcha. I'm drinking my matcha alongside my work, and it just like makes a little bit of like a bright spot in like a tough time of day when you're like actually facing reality. But no, it was not always that extensive, and it's not always going to be that extensive. Like I said, it's going to change vastly throughout the chapters. I'm curious. I know that we just talked about how your routine like really isn't ideal to like implement a large routine like that I just mentioned. It's 3 hours long.
I literally would have to wake up at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and that's overwhelming. And like I don't want to like end the episode on that, because that's unrealistic for 99.9% of people, and I don't think it's even fair to like have that as a comparison. So I want to talk a little bit more about like you, and if there's like a small habit that you might want to implement into your life that would be attainable for the average person.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of doing something like shorter in length before I go to work. And it can just be like when I wake up, no matter if I'm off or if I'm not going to work, like it doesn't matter the time. It's just like first thing when I wake up. And I feel like something that I loved during 75 Hard was yoga. And I feel like I could just find like a 10 to 15 minute yoga flow to just do like right in the morning. And I feel like that would be so good to just like, I'm very much like when I wake up, I'm very like mellow. I'm just like, I don't really want to talk too much. Like I just want to like get up and make my coffee or whatever. So I feel like that would be a good way to like wake up and just like integrate into the day.
Yeah. I love the concept of bookending your day. And I think that's why morning routines and night routines are so important, specifically for kids, but for adults too. It's because we thrive off of like, again, that predictability. And I think starting your day, even if it is just that 15 minutes with the same thing every single morning, and then like bookending your day, like at the end with washing your face, doing your skincare, having your tea, like it's just a sense of comfort that you know kind of like what lies ahead.
Yeah. And it like kind of signals to your body and your mind either way, it's time to wind down or it's time to like start your day.
Yes, 100%. I love that.
I feel like this is a great spot to go into my mental health resource because it's also something that I could implement into a routine.
Ooh, okay.
So my mental health resource is diaphragmatic breathing. I've been using this a lot lately. And it's basically when you take a breath in, you push your stomach out. And then when you breathe out, your stomach relaxes. So I actually didn't know this, but like for my entire life, I've been breathing wrong. Like I've always been breathing in, suck in and out, but it's actually the complete opposite. So if I'm feeling like especially anxious or just like I need like to reset, like I've just been doing like 3 to 5 diaphragmatic breaths and I just feel like it feels good.
It's so funny that you just said that because I kid you not, that is the hardest thing. Like I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to.
You have to be so like, it's like the pat your head, rub your belly thing. Like it's literally so hard. I was like, wait a minute, this is actually how you're supposed to breathe?
Is that how we're supposed to breathe all day long? Do you know?
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it just applies to that.
So the air fills your diaphragm and like your stomach and like it. And then when you breathe.
Well, if you think about it. Yeah, if you think about it, it makes sense. Like if you're taking in more air,
it should expand.
Your diaphragm is expanding. So it's kind of just like exaggerating that breathing movement.
You're so
but it
right.
feels so backwards.
It really does. I need like a tutorial on that.
I know. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is like your rest and digest system. So,
Okay.
yeah. What is yours?
My mental health resource this week is actually a comfort movie. And I was just talking about it on The Bachelorette yesterday morning, and it made me think of it. And it's called Now and Then. Have you ever seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
Wait, what was the one that we watched in Charleston? Was that it?
Probably Now and Then. I probably
The one with the
forced you.
girls?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. You were like, wait, you haven't seen this movie? That's what we did in Charleston on like a Saturday night at 7:30.
We got
put
ice
on that.
cream, and that was ideal.
Yeah.
That was like the best feel because we went to the beach that day, right? And so I think we like
Yeah.
went to the beach, and then we went to Saltwater Cowboys, and we got ice cream, and just came
Yep.
home and put on our pajamas and just sat on the couch. Oh,
Yeah.
that's like my ideal night. But yeah, I freaking love that movie. It takes place in the 70s. It's about 4 girls that are childhood best friends, and then it kind of follows them through like the course of their life, and they all have their unique storylines. And it is like a feel-good movie, but it's also like emotional because they all kind of go through their own unique things. I think I love it, especially because I wish I was born in the 70s, and I love the way that they just ride their bikes everywhere, and they're out all day, and they sneak out in the middle of the night, and they have their little like system of how to like communicate with each other because they're all neighbors, and they're like ringing the string that like rings the bell, and then like it's
Yeah.
the whole thing. I just think it's so sweet, and every time I watch it, I think it just reminds me what's truly important in life. And so yeah, it just really comforts me. So whenever I need it, I
They
watch
were
it.
simpler times, like just
Simple
literally
times.
point blank. Like they had different struggles, of course, but like it was just simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
I really wish I was born in the 70s, but alas.
But here we are.
Here we are with AI taking over the world one day at a time.
All right. Well, I think that is it. We will see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye.